Good morning, folks. It's 11:10. Oh, excuse me, just turned into 11:11 on the 16th day, 4th month, 2022. It's oneness. Yeah, it is. It just changed. I'm looking here at the pressure maps of Australia, trying to determine where this not particularly low pressure system is going to go. The atmospheric pressure is 1014, and this is 1004. It's not huge. You got two high pressures here, parked one on either side, which will tend to tug and actually act like a block. It's going to split this storm in half, actually, and that should end up bubbling that down into here. So traditionally, these fight over each other. These two will also tug this way. So that's why this is a bit more elongated, because this is a much higher pressure than that. So its winds will win over these winds. So I'm watching this very closely, actually. With a low up here, again, the pimple squeeze move almost is what I would call it, and this will envelop that and come in. You end up with an occluded front where one's parked on top of the other two highs. And this one here will end up bubbling in as this moves over, and I imagine when it bubbles in, it's going to be around here. So to look at the weather plan, and I've got a lot of data running right now, so I'm going to let this stream. That's Saturday. Watch the pressures. I don't agree with their flows are, but these pressure tugs are very predictable. All right, that high 8, that one, they've equalized. This one here has worked part of its load down, right? When this happens, you'll get rain. Oh, yeah. All this flow is down. Heat it up and send it to Antarctica. Yeah, you're not all the way through to Sunday. You're not looking too bad. Look like you got some wetness here. I'm gonna turn those ice bars off for right now. Right, because I got all sorts I can add. Freezing altitude is also important. Tells me what part, how low to the ground is it freezing. And that's important for ice crystal formation. What the ice is made of is something we deserve to know about, right? Right. Come on, let's think science. Though science is no such thing. Science should always be challenged, but pressure relationships are important. So that was important for me to know. Where's the cold air? It's not particularly low. There's a big streamer of low here, though, where it's getting really close to the ground. That's where it'll more affect your cumulus cloud formation. See where these winds are meeting here? That's going to be a volatile area. All right, let's go into the weather plan. I'm going to put it on the nun. The big nun. So it looks like they got some rain for you for Monday, but Easter's a bit wet for you down that corner. But the rest of Australia, expect showers along your coast. But all in all, I don't see no big event. These flows are all offshore, right? So everybody calm down and have a nice Easter along here. Imagine the surf is going to be quite good along here. Then again, they're going to expect rain along here. Sorry about the jiggly hand, but still getting used to using a mouse on a desk. New muscles to develop. And anybody who knows me knows I have that early onset Parkinson's, had it for a long time. I'm jitter-handed. Anyways, I digress. Mineral deficiency usually makes it worse. I must need some copper. Yeah, it looks like we got a little stuff going on here. So I'm just going to cover Easter for you because it's a little wet in some other areas of the world. This is the weather plan. I'm actually agreeing with this. I think it's going to go a little further inland than here, though. You know, them not showing this connecting is odd. That's some heavy rain. And this totals here are every 3 hours. Set it in motion. So if you add those numbers that went by, you get an idea. The accumulation wasn't too bad that I seen. I seen nothing super floody. But you're going to have some heavy local rains through here. Here, Melbourne. Melbourne, I'm not agreeing with this rainfall amounts. I think you're going to be higher. Considerably, actually. The flows all say so. I got all that moisture up here headed down. It turned down here, and all this land is wet, right? If I look at the soil, again, I'll bring up another stat that I consider will be a soil moisture. How much moisture is in the soil itself? Well, the air coming through here is still pretty wet, right? Here's what bothers me. Right, when I go to this day here, look how wet everything is. Right, they're showing this being saturated, but yet we're not seeing the super rainfall that allowed it to happen. This is telling me that something's different, something's wrong. Right, the no rains through Sunday seem to be fairly correct for soil saturation. But the day of saturation is usually the day before. Right, its soil gets saturated overnight or after a period of long rain. So something's going to occur through here. That's telling me. Tassie's saying, I ain't going to leave you out. I'll let you all just see what I'm seeing. And along your coastline, you see through here, where I showed the on windy earlier. Sat view won't show it yet because it hasn't occurred. And I'm over to Tuesday the 19th. Wednesday the 20th, still saturated. Not saturated here. Right? Good for plowing. Not good for plowing. But then overnight, whammo. Some areas have gotten absolutely smacked. It's totally saturated. All through here. 100%. So something is planned. And that saturation goes all the way inland through to Maury. See it? So I have a concern. But I have no concern for Easter. But I have a deep concern about this. What's being planned? Who knows? All I know is I'm seeing a statistical thing shown to me that is anomalous. You know, your soil saturation today, Lismore, still pretty high because you've had rains. So it doesn't take a super duper flood to make soil saturation. I have to point that out. Saturday, Sunday. This is it's a concern. You know, there's no place for the water to run off. Then it's runoff, right? Is that stating the obvious? So that is a deep concern. And we'll be watching. We're watching you, geoengineers. We're watching you. We watch what you do. We watch them. We're watching our world. We see the squares. Square. Square. Squares. Square. Right? We're watching. If you look too close at things, you miss the big picture. You look in here, you may see small squares. Oh, it didn't take long, did it? Squares. Geoengineered weather. Plumes of chem. A line is something. With clouds coming off it to a different direction than the others. Square forms. Geometric skies. Not your puffy white clouds Mr. Ross used to paint. It's a hell of a front line there, isn't it? Man-made. Pressure manipulation. Esperance, exceedingly guilty with their device. It does a swirl beam. And I've been documenting it for a very long time. I call it swirly girl because it's always swirling, square form. When you're underneath it looking up, all you see is the microwave popcorn clouds. But do you notice that the clouds over you have square edges? This is looking down from above, and you're seeing from the bottom. Do you see how geometric your skies have gotten? a microwave plasma nucleation of wrongness is being done to our planet, an interference pattern of EMF right before your eyes. God only knows what's been deployed in a line here. It's being dispersed by microwaves underneath. Bzzz, getting fried, getting fried. Strayus style. Tazzy, I ain't leaving you out of the picture. Sorry if I forget about you sometimes, but who can forget this microwave beam here, chem bomb plume there. Snoopy marine paw. Snoopy was a beagle. I'll call it what I want. Big. Oh, look, we get some sunshine on the ocean. Oh, no, we don't. Chemtrails. Is that the Windows logo? No, those are chemtrails. But funded by the guy that gave you the Windows logo. Bill Gates gave $25 million to the ScopeX balloon program. The Harvard Club. Yep, look it up. ScopeX. Balloons. Streamering off. Well, Australia, that's your weather forecast. I see a concern for many days from now, but up until Easter, I'm not as concerned. We'll go back with, you have to give me a minute. That's accumulations. Want to see accumulations? I'll turn the other one on. Dun, 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 dun. Now we'll go with a different part of the map. Still taking me time to learn all the things, so bear with. Temperature, thunderstorms, snow depth. I don't see a snow depth problem. What are you showing? Thunderstorms. Weather. It's not cooperating. Now let's try it. Nah. All right. Over the next 3 days, accumulations for Australia. Pretty small in some areas, pretty high in others. We'll do you 5 days. Notice nothing big along here, right? Looking good. Looking good. Not so good. In about over 10 days, not so good again. Again, over that 5-day period, they're planning something. Right? That's not a little bit. Total accumulation, again, in this valley here around Coffs, up around Lismore, Northern Rivers. Where the rivers all meet right here is where this all comes together. That's why this is such a crucial area for trade. Always has been for the slave trade. When they were smuggling out the indigenous that they stole from here. These rivers were where the trafficking went on. Human trafficking has never stopped in this area. Yeah, you got some high amounts coming that we will be watching for. Right? There's a big difference between that and that. But that isn't 400 mils like they got up in the mountains up here. You want to see a terribleness? And this is a terribleness that's going on right now. That flood that I warned about has happened. The number's gone down, but that's still 1/3 of a meter that fell. Next 24 hours, what's falling there? Those poor folks. Yeah. So glad we got a warning to some of these people in this area. It's damage done. Damage done over the next 5 days. That's what's going to continue to fall. And they've had a major event there. And all down this whole river is coming down. So as they rain it here, it's already got the floodwaters from here. Doesn't need any more. You know, when you flush the toilet, it doesn't need you to throw an extra bucket of shit in it, does it? Well, Shillong. Cool name. Anyways, if we look at the worldview of it all, I showed you your chem plumes coming across in your squares here. As I continue across the planet, this is today, Australia. I had you on face of the boogeyman. Squares, in squares, in squares. The big square dance on our planet being done by some squares. Canberra, big plume here. Went over the beautiful mountains, toxifying them. Whales and dolphins being toxified out here with plumes that are going inland and up the coast. They're not because of a flow coming this way. Preventing a lot of this from coming inland right now. Chem plumes, Penrith outside Sydney, streaming over this city. My God. Chem bombs here. Boom, 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 boom went the plumes over Singleton radar station. Hexagon over Newcastle and the big frying pan they got over here. Bzzz, fried, getting fried in Newcastle. Chem bombs suck. Boom! The ocean needed this. How dare us do this? You know, when Greta said, "How dare you to the corporation," she should have been looking in the mirror. How dare her even suggest this be done? And she was suggesting more than suggesting it. She supports the Paris Accord. She supports solar radiation management. And this is solar radiation management. How do you think the leaves on these trees are feeling about their din-din tonight? I didn't think they got any din-din over Singleton. Because somebody decided to own the weather. This hexagon here. Right over Newcastle. This shit over coming in over New Zealand. Coughlin, Auckland. My God. It's a worldwide catastrophe going on right now. People arguing over snake venom, villainizing water. This isn't water's fault that it's being used to do this over the top of my Wanua. Wakatani, who's absolutely copped it this week. The square over the volcano region here. It's not healthy. It causes rumblers. Palmerston North frying away. It's no different anywhere else. If I go out here to the United States, last picture, and I'm going to, the peaceful resistance is where I live, where I've been copping it. Right turn cloud that's fueling up the flood for Easter in the United States. See the geometry to anything yet? Do I have to point at it? I will. Houston is the problem here. They got the EMF. Just space station liars. They ain't got no green screen on our Earth to be faking it yet. Well, Project Bluebeam could put an end to that at any point. The straight line to that. Electromagnetic frequency. And to show you USA weather, I'll have to boot up different sites. But I will give you the weather plan forecast, which I pretty much agree with, actually. It's one of those rare occasions where I'm going to fairly much agree with the forecast. And I've got two areas of concern for flooding. California, get some very heavy rains over the next 10 days. But I think 3 days is all we're concerned about for Easter. Easter, you're looking here. That's a lot of rain. Sorry, it's not in inches. Get used to it. The rest of the world is using the metric system. Well, I think we could learn. Well, for a change, it ain't red. Are they filling the lakes? That was another thing I noticed over the 10 days when I look at where the heaviest rains are. It's always over the lakes. You know, you ain't getting it here. You're getting it over where Nestle pumps it. Well, that's just a conspiracy. And while sitting by myself. That wouldn't be a conspiracy. It's a hypothesis. I'm hypothesizing. Look at the band of rain that's come down the center of the United States over the next 10 days. Isn't it planting time? Mississippi River area. Very heavy.
Memphis area, very heavy. Thank God it's not as heavy as they was talking earlier. And I don't agree with it. I think it's an undersell. Well, let's see what your rain and thunder is looking like. Oh boy, heavy lightning. So we could have tornadic activity again. Heavy downpours over the Mississippi Basin, headed across the United States. And boy, are they going to cop it through here. Watch. I was watching this last night. They're doing a fold. Cold air is coming down with it. Yeah, there is a temperature difference to fuel storms. This moisture hits it from the Gulf down here over New Orleans come Sunday on Easter. This is not good. That's a heavy amount of rain that's going to fall in a 3-hour period. They're talking 20 mils. And these cells are right heavy over the Mississippi itself. And that's New Orleans right down there in the point. So I'm going to move it along. So the weather plan's showing pop-up cells. It's what I call when it's just volatile in the entire area for the formation of supercells, which each one of these will be. And each one of these will be rotating and have the potential for dangerous lightning, hail, and tornadic activity. Microbursts down, winds that come straight down and blow trees and roofs over. Yeah, it's like a belt of it right here. So what's been laid? Shall we look? Well, all that's been laid across the center. What was done yesterday before? Another line across the center. Energy insertion. Day before. Mess. So right along this line of chem seems to be this line of storms. Right, there's North Carolina right along the border of it. Sorry, Brizzy, that's you. I'm going to turn that off. So this whole line of chem, would you look at the guilt over West Virginia? Nah, 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 nah. They're all squealing like pigs. I'm talking about the government. Oink, oink, oink. In Washington. Harrisburg, Charlottesville. My God, you guys got sprayed like bugs. Look at that, Roanoke. Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Look at my beautiful mountains, not so beautiful. A little bit brown right now. Oh my God. Right over Cherokee, Athens. Would you look at the guilt along the line that they plan to storm your guys out on? Chemtrail, 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 chemtrail. Happy Easter. They don't even give you that weekend off. Fucking hell. Y'all give me a minute here. This is going to be my, this will be my thumbnail for my video. So give me a moment. Thank you. USA 16/4/22. Okay, just wanted to save that. And I will continue. Fucking hell. Look at this line over here at Norfolk. Hey Mooney, did you get any pictures of this to put up? Something came along in a line and deployed. Boom, 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 went the plumes. My God. Don't you tell me geoengineering ain't real. I'll show you it's real. Sit down next to me. I got all afternoon. Chemtrail, 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 only from here to here. That one's done spread out. Somebody took a paintbrush to your sky. Well, when the cobwebs fill the skies and fill the heads of people so they don't think straight, over the Cherokee Nation itself, I say that a prophecy is about to unfold. Because I don't need to see a rainbow to act like one. And well, it's as good a day to die as any. Put your war faces on, people. Big love. Peace.